Hi everyone. Today we're gonna make some drumsticks. So what I did do was I took some chopsticks that I just cut up into pieces because that's gonna be your little bone. And I did the my gyro recipe that I'll put a link to. And I took the dough and I divided it into 6 parts. Hopefully they should be the right size drumsticks. If it's too big, I'll just remove some. So you're gonna take it and you're just going to shape them like a drumstick. So there we go. You just want it that it looks like a drumstick. And these might grow, so maybe I'll make them just a little smaller. I think that would be a good size. And you're going to do the same thing to every one. You just take a stick and you insert it into your seitan. And this, like I said, I'm going to put a link to my video how to make this meat. And this is only the first part because after it's cooked, we're going to let it rest overnight. And then we're going to coat them either in breadcrumbs or maybe a barbecue sauce. So just shape them like you would shape a drumstick. I guess I miscalculated. And these are fun for kids to eat. And again, it's the kindest diet you'll ever put in your mouth. So you see how easy it is? And I'm still on a water fast, so I'm a little jealous that I'm making this. Even though I eat mostly raw, once in a while I just feed my urges, I guess.
Cravings?
My cravings, feed my cravings. And it doesn't happen often, trust me, otherwise I'd be complaining a lot. Okay, we're going to make this just a little smaller, because these will grow a little in the water. And just get them to look as a drumstick. I might make a nice barbecue glaze with these, a nice spicy barbecue glaze. And they don't have to be super, these don't have to be super big. You could also make them a little smaller and make them like you would be making chicken wings. Just checking to see, maybe a little less here. I thought I was only going to get 6, but I'm actually getting a little more. And these are really fun to eat. I guess I'll use this one. Make it a little baby drumstick. And kids love this. They're going to actually enjoy eating these. Just remember not to make it so spicy. So that's it. I'm going to make them rest. And I'm going to put them to simmer on a very low heat. First bring the water to boil, of course. And then you're going to put it down to a low heat and just let it simmer. If it takes 2 hours, it takes 2 hours. If you do put the water on a high boil while they're in there, they're just going to expand and turn into a big sponge. What you do want is that you want them to stay the shape that you did make your little drumsticks. Okay, so I'll show you the next step. Okay, so same recipe as my gyro. It's going to be the lemon, the paprika, and a little bit of soy. But this time I'm going to throw in 2 sage leaves, and I'm going to go get a couple of bay leaves. So as soon as this comes to a boil, I'm going to drop in my little drumsticks. Just bring it to a boil, and then you're going to reduce it. So here we go, it's come to a boil, and I'm just going to reduce it to a very low simmer. And I'm just going to drop them in gently. You don't want them to stick. And they kind of do look like drumsticks, eh? And it's that easy. So you could really take this meat and make so many great things with it. And this is fun for the kids. You could bread them once they're done. This is a chubby nugget. But you can bread them, you can fry them. There we go. So that's it. You cover it, and it's on a low simmer, and it's going to cook for an hour maybe even an hour, because it's not that much of a big, like usually when I make my my gyro meat, it's a big piece of meat. Since these are smaller pieces, they might even be done in an hour. So I'm going to check them in an hour, and if not, I'll just keep them a little longer. It's not going to damage the meat. It's not going to do anything to it. It's just going to make sure, you're going to make sure you've cooked it. So we'll come back when this is all done. So here's our chicken. They kind of look like drumsticks, don't they? So we had them, we cooked them in our broth, and then we let them cool down outside the water, and we refrigerated them overnight so they got nice and firm. And we're gonna marinate these little guys. Okay, so we're gonna make our rub. We're gonna use, we're gonna use a little over 1/8 of a cup of paprika. We're going to use about, I'd say about 1/2 8 of red pepper powder. We're going to need about a heaping tablespoon of garlic salt, and then we'll check it if we need a little more. And we have some onion powder. We're going to put 2 of those. And now our chili. These are going to be hot, so if you're going to make them for children, I advise not to put any. And we're going to mix this. Now we're going to need some sugar. We could either use maple, or we can use some brown sugar. So I'm going to use brown sugar today for this. And I have some golden brown sugar. And I'm going to put, I'd say about maybe 1/2 cup. Now if you have too much of this, it's not a big problem, because you could always use what you need and bag the rest and just keep it either in a pantry, or you could keep it in the freezer. I'll need a little bit of salt for that, and I'm using my gray salt. And I would say about maybe 1/2 teaspoon. Now, you could also make this a little smoky by adding a little bit of liquid smoke, or you could put a little pinch. I have what you call hickory sea salt. And I'm just going to put a little pinch of this, and this is going to give it that little bit of smoke flavor. It really is that easy. Just give it a taste. It's going to be perfect. Maybe just a little extra sugar. Remember, if there's too much of this, if you have a container, you can just keep it in a container, and you can use it next time. You could rub this on any pieces of seitan. If you're making maybe a shish kebab, you could use that on that. Or if you have little fillets of seitan, you could also marinate your seitan in this, and it's just really, really good, and it's very easy. So here we go. We're going to take our little chicken drumsticks, and we're just going to coat it. And this is going to be our step 1, because then we're going to put some breadcrumbs on this. We're just going to let this pick up those flavors. And it's that simple. These are just nice, you could eat nice finger foods, actually. You could even make them a little smaller if you want, or make what you call little lollipops. If you ever have a party, you can make them a little smaller. I think I'm going to make some for the holidays and make them into little lollipop drumsticks. And it's just something fun to eat. Okay, so we're almost done. And now you're going to let that sit in this marinade for a couple of hours, and then we're going to make the breadcrumb. Okay, so it was that easy. So here they are, and don't they look like little drumsticks? So I've got them, now I'm going to have them marinated for a couple of hours, And then I'm going to put them in a non-egg wash, and I'm going to bread them with some breadcrumbs, and these are going to go in the oven. So I'll come back in a little while and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so we're back. Now we're going to make a non-egg wash. And if you remember the last time, we used some miso. I'm not sure if you could see this. I just used some white miso. And I'm going to use a little bit of ground flax. Not that much. This will make it gelatinous, and it's going to adhere to the drumsticks like an egg would. And the miso is just great for probiotics, and it's just going to add a nice flavor too. You don't need that much. And we're going to add some water. So here we go. And I'm also soaking some cashews because I'll be making a ranch dressing for the drumsticks. And that'll be another video I'll be posting and show you how easy it is to make a nice ranch dressing. So here we go. This is our miso and flax seeds. And while I'm preparing some other stuff, this is just going to gel up nicely for me. Okay, we'll put that aside. And we're going to prepare our crumbs. You don't have to use breadcrumbs. You could just cook your drumsticks the way they are. But today we're going to use some panko, a little bit of nutritional yeast, again, some great B vitamins there, and some plain breadcrumbs. And we're going to add some of my grated cheese that I make. And I'll also link my video on how to make that cheese. And so I'll just put this aside, take that away. And that's going to be our breadcrumbs. I'll put some cheese. And there's our cheese. Like I said, I'm going to link my recipe on my grated cheese. What I also need is just a little bit of tapioca starch. I use tapioca rather than corn because I don't want the genetically modified cornstarch that's out there in the market. And I wasn't able to find any organic ones, so I'm using my tapioca and a little bit of my flour, and I'm going to use this to mix my drumsticks before I put it in my egg wash. You could also add some herbs if you want to, but I'm going to leave the breadcrumbs plain. Okay, so here's our drumsticks that we've had them marinated in our rub. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick up our drumstick and we're going to just slowly put it through our flour and starch mixture. And this also helps keep everything together. And then we're going to put it in our egg mixture. And then into our breadcrumbs. Now you could either bake these, or you can fry them if you want. You could deep fry them. Remember, it doesn't really need to, it doesn't take that long because your seitan's already cooked. So I'm just going to push this aside. Over to the side. Okay, so we're going to repeat this for everyone. And if you find your egg wash is getting too thick because of the starch and the flour, just add a little bit of water. My mouth's watering already. Unfortunately, I can't eat this because I'm doing a water fast. I'm on day 9, believe it or not. I usually do a fast a couple of times a year. And that just helps get rid of some of the toxins that we pick up in our lives. and gives your body a chance to heal itself. Since you're not digesting any food, your body works really hard to digest food. So by giving it that chance, it actually heals itself. Now, if you don't want to make a spicy rub, you could use a Cajun rub, you could use a Jamaican rub. And if you deep fry these, they get nice and crispy. You get a nice little bite when you bite into them. And I'll be back and show you the end results. Okay, so we're back and our drumsticks are done. I'm going to have a link for the dressing, for the ranch dressing for you. And I'm going to make a video. And here's a couple of drumsticks. And a little bit of tomato and cucumber salad. And it's that easy. And look how beautiful this plate is. There you go. Hope you enjoyed this recipe. Give us a thumbs up. And leave us some comments if you try this out. Thank you.